Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Belgium for round 14 of the F1 Motocross World Championship. We are at the circuit of Lommel on what is going to be a very, very tough weekend for both riders in MX2 and MXGP. The final two races of the day on Saturday. MX2 Qualifying is coming up next. My name's Paul Malin, and thanks for joining us live on MXGP TV. Alongside me will be Jason Thomas from Fly Racing. And Jason, how much are you looking forward to this MX2 qualifying race and MXGP a little bit later on?
I'm excited. We're at a sand track, right? If Lommel's anything, it's a sand track. So to see these specialists do their thing on this track is something I've always dreamed about.
Looking a little bit cloudy out there, but it's still hovering around 20 degrees, about 20 degrees cooler than it was last week when we were here. So there we are, right in the north of the country, just below the Dutch border. And deep sand is the nature of the game here this weekend. Notoriously deep. It's that kind of racetrack that everybody wants to do well at, but nobody enjoys coming here unless you're Jorge Parado or someone like Jeffrey Hurlings or Tony Cairoli, for instance. There is Jorge Parado on his sighting lap. That's the first look at the track. If you're joining us for the first time today, just under 1,900 meters of pure hell is waiting for the riders today.
Yeah, I think these guys caught a break. We're 20 degrees Celsius cooler than a week ago. Speaking with Adam Sterry earlier, he was saying he didn't think that these guys would even be able to race in those conditions. It would be so brutal. So I don't think anybody's really too bummed out about the rain yesterday and the cooler temps today.
Well, a few moments alone. Lisa Leyland was down on the grid. She caught up with Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha's Ben Watson, back from injury, and a wild card, Tom Grimshaw, riding for JK Racing Yamaha.
Hello and welcome to the start of the MX2 qualifying race here in Lommel. Now, I want to speak to a rider that we usually see in the MX250s. It's Tom Grimshaw. Now, this is your very first MX2 race, isn't it? You've got an opportunity with JK Racing. Just tell us how that opportunity came about.
Literally, I was came out here for the week, planning to do the MX250, and we had a few bike problems, so we weren't sure if we were even going to race. And then our friend Claudio, we've known for a few years, has ties with the JK squad, and they're looking for a fill-in rider because unfortunately their rider went out. So I got the call Wednesday night, and then Thursday they brought the bike to the track, had a little go, and here we are. It was the first time racing here, so looking forward to it. Yeah.
So all very last minute, but quite brave of you, because this is pretty much one of the toughest tracks on the calendar, and to have your first MX2 race here, what would you be happy with after this weekend then?
For sure, I've chosen the hardest one, but once you get an opportunity like this, you can't say no to it, so I took it with both hands.
Yeah.
But no expectations, literally just go out there and ride and gain experience. Mostly have fun and just try and last, because I know I'm going to struggle tomorrow with the longer races, but just get all the way through it and take a lot of experience from it.
Well, good to have you here. Best of luck, Tom. Thank you. Now, I'd like to catch up with Ben Watson. Actually, the last time we saw him was in Indonesia, where you tried to race that first race in Palembang. Didn't go your way, but you're back. Please just give us an update on how you're feeling. How's the injury?
Yeah, so I came back in the first one in Indonesia. It was only 13 days after my surgery, so I was very optimistic, and yeah, I came back a little bit too early, and then the plate came away from the bone because I guess it was really not healed and was moving too much. So yeah, I qualified 10th on the first day, and then I woke up Sunday morning, had a really bad reaction, and yeah, the pain was just too much to ride. So I stopped there and then, and that was it for that, the Indonesian trip. I decided to take a couple of weeks off after that, and yeah, now I'm here back at Lommel. Chose the easiest one to come back up, of course, but yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it. It's so good to be back, even though I was only away for a few weeks. It's difficult to get back into it, so quickly. But yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it, and yeah, all the team have been really supportive in the injury, and yeah, it's nice.
Well, it's definitely good to have you back. But just tell us, what result would you be happy with coming away from this weekend? Of
course, I have no expectations at all. I'm still having a little bit of pain, but it's not really affecting my riding so much. So I've rode only 2 days this week in the past 6 weeks. So yeah, I've not really, done enough riding to be expecting too much, but, 7, 8, even a top 5 if things go well, and you really don't know. I really don't know what to expect, so I'm just going to go out there and make sure I enjoy it and just enjoy being back, let's say.
Best of luck, Ben. Thank you. Good luck there to Ben and all the guys. It's time for the MX2 qualifying race.
riders already back from the track on the waiting zone, and just up on the tower there a moment ago was Yves Demarier and Julian Lieber. They've got the best seat in the house. They can see everything from the infield there. The odd commentary position. Anyway, Jorge Prado goes to the line first. He was fastest in free practice and in time practice. In free practice, it was a 55.5, 56.0, so only half a second slower on a track that was a little bit more challenging. A second behind him, Thomas Olsen on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, then Adam Sterry, F&H Racing Team, and that'll impress you, I think, Jason Thomas.
Yeah, second in free practice and then third in time practice, coming off of a second place in the second moto at Waukett. So he said this was his favorite track. I think it's time to step up. He could be looking at a podium overall this weekend.
Team HRC's Calvin Lundgren was fourth to the line. Jargo Kietz, Monster Energy Khmer, Yamaha. A lot of expectation, maybe quite a lot of expectation from the fans, you feel, this weekend.
Yeah, you wonder if he's just putting too much pressure on himself. I think if he just relaxes and let it come to him, he'll be much better. Watched him in practice quite a bit, and the effort is not lacking. I think he just needs to take some deep breaths and remember that, yeah, he can absolutely be in the running for a win here if he rides away, knows how.
Then we got Cyril Genot, Tom Vial, Ben Watson. I've just heard from him a moment ago. Alvin Osland on the Revo Husqvarna at Matthijs Borromée. Henry Jacobi will go to the line 11th, and then Brent Van Donnick, the Honda Red Motor Asamoah rider. He fell. When you go over the finish line, the next left, the takeoff of the wave section, as we look at Jorge Prado, he didn't even make it as far as the jump. He was on the face of the jump. Now, I don't know if there was one or two riders involved, but he was down for about 4 laps during the time training session, just after he put in that lap. And he was stretched off, and I'm not sure, we've not heard anything back, but when a rider is down that long and has a medical attention like that, it'll be highly unlikely that Brent Van Donnick will start the qualifying race today, which is a shame.
Generally not ideal.
No. Thomas Kjær Olsen, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Factory Racing. Are we going to see a race win out of him this weekend, or is Prado going to be too good? Is Jargo Kietz going to get something? Henry Jacobi will be disappointed with 11th in time practice, but you and I both know, Jason, that a race situation is completely different to trying to put in a fast lap.
Yeah, you see all these guys. The racing is totally different. You see everyone has their pre-race ritual. TKO there was going through some sort of karate move. I'm not sure exactly what he's doing. Henry Jacobi was talking to himself. So much nervousness that goes on in this racing, and everybody's just trying to fight it a bit.
Down in 27th place, one of your guys, Bud Racing Kawasaki's number 35, Mitchell Harrison. Spoke to him briefly. I spoke to his mum as well while she was up in pit lane watching the time training session, and she sort of said, I think he underestimated this place a little bit.
Yeah,
couldn't find a good feeling.
Yeah, he rides sand generally pretty well. I was surprised to see him that far off the pace. Maybe once he gets in the race and finds a groove, he'll improve a bit.
And I did speak to him just at the end of the MXGP time practice session, and he did say, it was just like, you know what, it's weird because I just can't figure out how to do that fast lap. And I ride sand all the time, you know, ride sand. I love riding sand, but just something about this place or just that session. Tried to give him 1 or 2 little pointers just about this place in particular, but Matthijs Borromée, he'll be looking for a decent result as well. But yeah, going back to Harrison, his teammate here, Brian Morose, he needs a good start, and if he can get a good qualifying race under his belt here today, there he is, center of the screen in yellow, number 35, then of course that might set him up for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's the same old story with seemingly Americans riding at Lommel, just cannot figure out how to ride sand. They feel like they know how to ride sand, they arrive and they realize they don't.
Fly Racing, 15-second board goes up for the MX2 qualifying race, 20 minutes plus 2 laps. We're at the 14th round of the FI Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Belgium. There is Jorge Prado with the Red Bull helmet on. He's looked pretty impressive so far today, but who will it be that walks away with a qualifying race win this weekend? Prado with another hole shot. His teammate right there behind him, and then the Kawasaki of 29, Henry Jacobi, just a couple of positions further back. Verlandren's in there, and so too is Olsen. Only the jumps are getting fixed on this racetrack here. The rest of it, well, it's just like a minefield field, although it's not as deep as it normally would be this late in the day. Oh, and Olsen off the side of the track. Got cross-rutted and just threw it away. Don't need to be doing that in the first lap, Jason.
No, that's not the right line. Glad he's up there. That could have been much worse.
Looks like they fixed the next jump, so I don't know if they fixed the one before that, but either way, everybody else got through there and maybe just bottomed out and just had the handlebar snatched out of his hand there. But it's Prado who leads, Vial second, Villander third, and Brian Moreau. It's not good either.
No. It's a little bit early in the race to be checking the gas.
And sand inside the fuel tank is also not good.
Probably going to be a DNF. I'm shocked to see Prado out front. I don't know about you. This is very uncharacteristic for him on the early laps.
It's not like he knows how to start or anything, is it? You know, he could do with a few more hole shots. But must have been luck.
Yeah.
Bodies all over the place. One of the Brazilian, Pessoa, over on the left. If that's the 102, it's Zikina, and it is. And then the 66 of Ika Larinaga. Jago Kietz is down as well. So Jago Kietz, whereabouts on the track is that? Harrison's been down. So a lot of riders tasting the dirt here on the opening lap in Lommel. But it's Prado who leads. Villander in second for Team HRC. And then we've got Vial. Then Sterry fourth, Jacoby 5, Watson 6, Boromé 7, Cyril Janot, Joe van Mechelen, Lars Griekspoor in 10th, good start for him, Darian Sanai, Michael Sandner, Joaquin Fabetta, Morgan Luciano, Mitchell Harrison was in 15th then when he came through. So maybe it was just him just pulling a tear off, but it looked like he was further back than that. But there's Jago Kietz. Well, there's Olsen. Wow. He's lucky there.
He did go down. Yeah, that was a good one too.
That's well, that was which one was that? Well, that was Pessoa missing him. Then Larinaga and then Zikina had nowhere to go. And then it's Prado. Jago Kietz. Yeah, he spins up and then high slides just on pit straight. So throwing away a golden opportunity and advantage. This guy here, representing the Belgian flag on his race kit this weekend. Of course, he lives over here, has done since he was a small kid. See how he's just picking up the front end there, just dancing around.
He has this incredible ability to make it look like he's not trying. Meanwhile, he's going, much faster than anybody else. He's setting the fastest segment times and running away with the race, and he looks like he's at about 70% effort.
Yeah, it's just not fair, is it? So Prado. Yep.
See how light he stays on the bike, low RPM. It's everything you would think that would not turn a very fast lap time, but that's the magic of riding sand. It's really effortless.
Sterry's been down. So Sterry was in fourth. Tipped over in the corner before pit lane, so lost a couple of positions, gets up pretty quickly. But that's also frustrating, isn't it? Because even when you go down like that and you have to pick up, it's just that break in concentration. You've got to regroup real quick, get your breathing right on point, because this place, it does actually take it out of you, doesn't it, in terms of the breathing?
Yeah, that was about as least amount of damage you could do with a crash, but still, he's got to be frustrated now. It should have created more work for himself.
So Prado leads, Villander in second, Vial third, Jacoby fourth, Watson fifth. Boromé will be, Sterry is 6, Boromé 7, Cyril Janot is 8, Joel van Mechelen 9, Lars Griekspoor 10, Jago Kietz is 11th now. Ahead of Michael Sandler, Darren Sanai, Morgan Luciano, Joaquin Fabetta, Mitchell Harrison in 16, Maxime Renaud, Thomas Olsen 18, Marcel Koenen and James Carpenter. They're top 20, but no Mitch Evans this weekend. He's still not right after a series of crashes in Germany, in Indonesia, and Lockett as well. I think he had a bit of an off, but he'll be back in Imola. Just needs time to recoup and get that body settled down. And also no Zach Pichon this weekend. Has a hematoma on his lower back as well. Prado not getting away from Villander though, Jace.
Yeah, Villander has a really good lap going. You wonder if Prado maybe made a mistake, because he definitely had a larger gap, and his previous lap was really quick. So I'm wondering if he just screwed up right before we went to the camera there.
Well, what are the sectors? 26.3, 24.2, and then 35s for both, 31.8, 32.4. So that first sector is obviously messed up somewhere, gone in too deep, overjumped something. I watched him from up in the pit lane area when he put in his fast lap, and he did look very, very impressive.
Yeah, just incredible talent. There's no other way to say it. You look at his first lap, it was a 1:58. Mosdijk, who we just watched win the MX250, his best lap was maybe 2:03. So you see the difference in ability on the first lap, and he's probably only going to improve from here.
Jago Geerts up to 9th now. Found his way past Van Mechelen and Lars Griekspoor. Probably gather from their names that they're fairly handy in the sand, coming from these parts.
Yeah, you know, it's incredible. I'm watching Vial right now, and when he was signed to this team, he was a virtual unknown, especially for those of us stateside. He has been incredibly impressive. Yeah, okay, he's not winning, but to be at the front consistently, for most of us, really had no idea who it was, other than his father. It's been a success story all year long.
Yeah, and Olsen finding his way past Sanai, one of the riders there, and Griekspoor, I think, as he looks to gain more positions.
Well, Sanai is from the Pacific Northwest, and for those of you who have never been to the Pacific Northwest, there is not sand for probably 500 miles in every direction. So this is very foreign territory for him, but he's hanging in there.
Well, he lives just down the road, actually. He's based, his European base is sort of, Lommel-ish area. So he would have done a few laps here, but there's no substitute for training and racing. You can train and train and train, and some people get it, some people don't. In terms of the technique, the style needed to go fast. It's definitely been a learning experience, I can promise you that. So Olsen then, making inroads. He's now up in the 12th place. An eye on Jago Geerts, so he was about 3 or 4 seconds down on Matthijs Borromée. He was 4 seconds quicker than the Frenchman. So you would expect him to be up into 8th. But again, it's one of those things where first lap crash, you give yourself a lot more work to do. You've got to work harder just to get a good qualifying pick for tomorrow. It's interesting. Bleinern's hanging in there, and he made an interesting comment at Lockett when he was speaking with Lisa Leyland, saying he thought he was the fastest guy, and he hasn't had his opportunity to prove it yet. I found that surprising, with as dominant as Prado's been. For him to, if he truly believes that, it's impressive that he still has that confidence, but here's an opportunity. You know, Prado's right up the road here, and this would be a big statement if he could reel him in. How much of... Okay, Prado, yes, very, very talented, can ride all conditions. How much of that is the difference between KTM and Honda Power as well? Yeah, you wonder, because Vial has been at the front every time too. You wonder if it's just a power, is it electronics coming off of the grid, because obviously the 450 program for MXGP has been very similar for KTM and Husqvarna. Whatever it is, they certainly have things figured out on both sides, because in the U.S., Cooper Webb, Marvin Musquin, Blake Baggett, these guys are all hole-shotting most motos as well. Here's Jacoby and Watson. And Watson puts the squeeze on the German and moves up into 4th place. So good ride, good bit of riding that from Watson. And a rider that is obviously making his way back from injury. Been on a bike a couple of times this week. But he does prefer riding in sand. So, you know what? Someone like Ben Watson, with that time off, he's lost a couple of positions in the championship. What is he now? 8th. When last year he made a podium in Russia, got his first ever podium, and then we expected him to do the same in Latvia, but then it never happened, and it was almost as if he put himself under too much pressure. Here he is now, riding with an injury still. He's not 100%. Sometimes you are a little bit more relaxed when you like that, because the pressure is off. You don't expect anything. He said it himself in the pre-grid. Yeah, expectations can be a dangerous thing. They can propel you to the front, or they can drown you in too much pressure. So, yeah, when you have an injury, you almost don't expect to be able to do much, and you just ride very loose and with zero pressure. So that seems like what he's doing now. For him to pull away from Jacoby with zero practice, basically, is impressive. Cyril Genot with the A1M Husqvarna. 105 with tear-offs and roll-offs falling from his goggles as Jago Geerts goes by. So Geerts now up into 7th place. One thing he doesn't know how to do, Jago Geerts, is right around here. Again, 10-15 minutes from there. There's Gustavo Passar, the bike at DRT. Kawasaki rider, probably just saying, should have stayed home. That guy's done some laps around here. Yeah, no sand like this in Brazil is probably what he's saying. Here's Prado, now 7.5 seconds clear of Verlander, and all of a sudden, where did that just come from? 2:01 last time around, 2:03 So 2 seconds a lap here and there. But this is impressive from Tom Vial. He would have been working with KTM all through the winter, with Joel Smets in particular, in terms of trying to hone his sand riding skills.
Yeah, it's not something that comes easy, though. It's impressive to me. You know, growing up in France, riding conditions like this is just not something you do on a daily basis typically. So to see him with this pace, riding comfortably in third, it's a testament to the hard work, just like you said, to prepare himself.
But he has had a fantastic season. A lot of Motocross Nations teams kind of being announced in the next few days and weeks, I would imagine. I think Team Switzerland are announcing later today, so too Belgium. France are the defending champions, of course, Jason Thomas. And it looks like this guy might get a shot. First year in MX2. Would that be a good thing?
You know, with the teams they've had to put together due to crashes and injuries, they might have their most complete team in a while. I mean, you know, Charlier was not even racing motocross, and they put him on the team and win. So at this point, I'm convinced there's nothing that France can do wrong. They could literally pick anyone, and they could win. They could pick someone who's never ridden a motorcycle before and win. The only thing I would say is they're going to Assen, and it's a full sand track, and yeah, the Dutch will be there. So
and it's an artificial sand track at that.
Yeah. Yeah, I put the Dutch as a prohibitive favor going in this year.
So Prado, and then Valana, Vial, Watson, and Jacoby and Sterry seem to be tied by string at the moment in the last few races. Jacoby just edging out his teammate at the moment, but Sterry did fall. He's done well to get back onto the rear wheel of the 29.
Great friends, these two.
Huh?
Great friends, these two.
Yeah, real good buddies.
I wanted to ask Adam Sterry about their relationship earlier, but didn't have the heart.
Yeah. But I think, I mean, I spoke to the team boss in Indonesia just shortly after that. If you're wondering what we're talking about, obviously Punchgate in Germany. But she said, no, it's been dealt with. You know, we've dealt with it internally, and that's it. You know, and it involved a hefty fine as well. There's other things, but you know, these guys have to work together. They have to ride together. They have to train together. You know, they will put their differences aside and just get on with the job. And next year they both go 450. Not sure what teams either rider's going to be on yet, because F&H is a 250 team. There's no mention of them going 450. So you have to assume that they won't be teammates next year, just because of their progression in their careers as well.
Yeah. And, you know, once emotions subside and everyone cools down, you know, I'm sure Henry Jacoby realized he made a mistake. And listen, I've done lots of things that I would regret in the heat of the moment. So, like you said, they're teammates and they have to finish out the season together. So it's in everybody's best interest to put it behind them.
Yeah, exactly. But since you mentioned it.
Yeah, it definitely was made for some exciting television from my couch.
It did the rounds. It did the rounds. Anyway, these two are 13, 14 seconds down on Jorge Prado, or they were. He's already over the line after 6 laps. Valana about to hit the line any moment now. In fact, no, they were just 14, 15 seconds down on Valana, I think, because they're going to be much further behind this time around. So Prado, Valana, 11.3 seconds apart. Vial all over the back of him. That's Sun making an appearance. Watson is in 4th. Jacoby 5th. Yeah, 25 and 27 seconds down. Him and Sterry.
This is such a prototypical Prado ride. You know that he could probably drop a couple seconds a lap if he really needed to. He's pushed his lead to over 10 seconds, and now he's just matching lap times with Vlaanderen. No pressure, slowly extending the gap, taking no risk. This is what he does, time in and time out.
Jorgo Geerts closing in on Sterry. So you can hear the excitement in the Belgian announcer's voice here as Jorgo Geerts is closing in on both the Kawasaki's. 5 and a bit minutes to go, plus 2 laps. It's the mechanic looking on.
I have no idea what the announcer's saying, but it sounds incredible.
It sounds like he's behind Jorgo Geerts, and the fans are behind him as well. You can hear that just on the corner here.
Paul, I know you've had some incredible rides in the past, and I've had a couple where I've heard the crowd, and it does so much for you, so much adrenaline, and you feel like you can't do anything wrong. So, you know, his heart rate's pinned, and he wants so badly to get to the front right now.
And you know what? I think that, in a strange way, I think that fall has done him a favor, because he made a good start. You can be all nervous and tense, don't make a mistake, and then all of a sudden you make that mistake, then you just have to ride on instinct. And that's exactly what he's doing now. You know, he's probably more relaxed now than he would have been had he not fallen, in some ways, in a strange way.
All of that pressure and expectations gone. Now it's just pure rage and adrenaline to get back to the front.
And that's what he's doing. He's probably just making the most of that. You know, his line choice is completely different to Adam Sterry's. Sterry, you know, when you come to a track that you know you like and you're expecting to do well, that Adam Sterry is. You know that no matter how hard you push when you're Jargo Kiert, it's not going to be an easy guy to pass. Even Jacoby has got second wind.
Yeah, all three of them seem to be pushing the pace forward. So we'll see. Vlaandren's quite a bit up the road here, but all three of them get together and work together. There's probably, 4 or 5 laps left in this race.
But Vlaandren here and Vial, they're second and third, still separated by just over a second or thereabouts. I mean, you're probably going to walk the track tonight, are you, or not? Have a look at some parts?
I would probably fall 3 or 4 times just walking the track, so may need to sign a waiver.
Yeah. Here's Geertz. Got Sterry right in his wheel tracks. And Jacoby, he's escaped for now. He's the lead Kawasaki rider, just out of shot there, but Jargo Geertz again eating roost the whole race. Through the first turns. Definitely closing. Goes the tighter way through. Looks to go around the outside. They're going to be side by side here. An easy pass in the end then from Jargo Geertz. Fans like that. So that was for, what, 5th, 6th place. Now just focus on trying to find a way to close down Henry Jacoby. What's his lap time, actually? 2:03 while he was closing in on Sterry. The two ahead of him were 2:05s. Pretty impressive. Yeah, it's fastest on track right now, so he's definitely in the groove. Just like you said, he's not thinking, he's just purely reacting right now. So Prado, Vlaandren, Vial, Watson, Jacoby, Geertz, now 6, Sterry 7, Jeannot 8, Olsen up to 9th after his crash, and 10 is Matthijs Boerum 8, Renault 11, Luciano 12, Harrison 13th. That's a good ride for the American rider on the Bud Racing Kawasaki. So here's Watson. And Watson has got Jacoby for company, and then he's going to have Jargo Geertz. So this was Jargo Geertz a moment ago. Talk us through this, Jason. Well, you see him go inside there, which he knows is going to turn into the outside. And it's all about momentum, right? He just sweeps around, and that's all about knowing where your competition's going and knowing the line. And there was also that single to the inside, and he went around that. So he totally set up the pass. Yeah, that's thinking ahead 2 or 3 corners and knowing where Adam Sterry was going to be and where he could go. Here's Mitchell Harrison. He's 13th at the moment. Lap time 2:13 last time around. He'll look at that and think, okay, there's still room for improvement. But you know what? Everyone is in the same boat. They're all sort of sailing this rocky ocean at the moment. Well, just to give you an idea, right? He's putting in a good ride. Best lap. Jacoby making a mistake here. Oh. Back end, just a little bit loose in the rut there. Managed to ride it out. And now he's got Jargo Geertz all over the back of him. They've been by Vlaandren as well. Is that Vlaandren just behind them? I don't think so. Hang on, let's have a look. No, back marker. Nice move from Geertz there. Yeah, just got good drive around the outside. Made it look pretty easy. Again, just hanging off the back. Takes the less severe hole right in the center. Mistake there from Jacoby as well. Came into land. Back was a little bit out of line. Now he's got his teammate ahead of him, Watson. It's been an impressive ride for Jargo Geertz. Down on the first lap. Yeah. 20 plus 2 is not that long. The great thing about this track is if you have more momentum, you don't even really need to be attempting a pass, and you'll ride right around the outside of someone, which we've seen every time he goes around. He's really not even attempting a pass. He's just allowing his line to take him right around. Different option through there as well. And that's difficult to get right, that inside, because I've seen guys jump long, land, and then go for that inside option, and they almost jump around the corner. It's fine if it's a nice wide sweeper, but when you've got 125, 250 Europeans before you, and they'll make a tighter line, there's a danger of just overcooking it and going the wrong way.
We saw Geertz crash there on the first lap as well. When I was speaking about Harrison, his best lap is a 2:11. For him to go in and look at the, the sheet with all the data on it and see that Prado did a 1:58, that has to be so discouraging. And you just wonder if you're even racing the same racetrack. It's, I mean, it's good on one hand, there's so much time to be gained, but then again, you look at it and say, how? How could I possibly gain that much time?
Yeah. Well, Jago Geertz, here he is now in 5th place. He's got his teammate Ben Watson just ahead of him. So the two Monster Energy Khmer Yamahas, we're in a good place ahead of the main race tomorrow. There is Watson just out of sight. A couple of back markers to deal with for Geertz. That same line again, look, that forward momentum. That's where Olsen crashed, so those lines were still there right at the start of the race. And the jumps and the bumps on the approach to the jump. Here is Olsen. Cyril Janot just ahead of him, 105. So the A1 Husqvarna rider in 8th place. Olsen looking to go around the outside, and he does go through. The track is working so well, though, isn't it, in terms of just giving riders those options.
Absolutely, yeah.
To be creative.
You can literally pass in every section on the entire racetrack.
You have to commit. 3 to go. Here's Prado. So the Red Bull KTM rider, a 2:05.5. Valanen was a 2:05.9 last time around. We wait for the HRC rider to come through any moment now. Even that was nice. Yeah. Bouncing and then using that to double his way into the corner.
Such a good rhythm.
2:07.2 last time for Valanen.
What do you reckon his heart rate is here, about 55?
Watch this. Slams into that, uses that, and just they're the different things.
What bumps?
What bumps, exactly. Use the track to its advantage, to your advantage.
Yeah.
Just looks like he's on a training run.
Yeah, I would be scared to know what his heart rate is right now. It's incredibly low. I mean, this is effortless. Right there is an incredibly difficult section. And yeah, okay, he's trying hard, but nowhere near what most riders, even great sand riders, would be able to do through there.
Here's Watson and Geertz. So these two, 4th and 5th. Back marker moves aside.
You watch the difference between he and Geertz, and Geertz they're running similar lap times. Hopefully they battle for the win tomorrow. Geertz looks like he's trying incredibly hard. So much effort. You can see it in his riding, where Prado doesn't look like he's trying at all, and they're doing nearly the same lap times. It's just a completely different approach to riding.
Yeah, the ideal scenario would be those two get out front tomorrow, and we just sort of see them just slug it out. But Geertz just having to, he's just trying different lines. Normally he's through there on the inside. He's having to go the outside now because Watson is on probably the favoured line. Same again, around the outside here, momentum. The holes aren't as big. He's surfing his way through, and he does go through. So Geertz now up in a 4th place with 2 to go, lap and a bit to go. Decent move.
Yeah, you wonder how much Watson has left in the tank at this point, but either way, that's basically been the way that Geertz has moved up the entire time, just riding right around the outside of people.
Bike got away from him there a little bit. Prado just in that left-hander. Probably the only mistake we've seen him make. Is he still doing this line here? Not this time around. Backed it right off. You can tell from the body language. Like you say, he's just cruising. That last lap was a 2:05. So Valanen 2nd, 22 seconds down, a 2:09 for him. Then Vial just here, and Jago Geertz could take 3rd on the final lap. 2:05 for Geertz. So the same time as the leader.
Yeah, they're 4 seconds faster than anyone else on track right now. So you see what we're setting up for tomorrow.
Similar kind of thing, though.
Yeah.
Jago Geertz using the track just to...
yeah, just like we're saying, though, it looks so much more difficult for him. Same move, just the level of difficulty looks like about 10 points higher.
Back end just got out of shape there as he came to do it. But if he can get top 3 here, that'll put a smile on team owner Hans Korver's face. after that mistake on the opening lap. Again, the secret into those corners, not to go too deep and push those berms too wide. That's where you kill like that in the background. But Geerts looking for a different line through, jumping long, and he's whittled this gap down to Vial in no time. Again, gets the distance over the jump. That's having the confidence to attack the ruts.
Yeah. This is not the last lap Vial was hoping for. I can promise you, having Geerts behind you, you can hear the crowd going crazy. So, yeah, Geerts makes a mistake there.
You know what? I think he saw Vial make a mistake, and he thought maybe he was going to go down because he switched his line last minute and had to ride the edge of the bank there. But here's Prado. Cruising down past pit lane for the final time. He's just won the last 7 qualifying race wins in a row. It's going to be 8 in a row, and 10 for the season as the Red Bull KTM rider wins the qualifying race here in MX2. We wait for Verlander, and here he is for Team HRC. But look, here's the battle for third coming into the final corner. Vial may just hang on. He goes to the outside. Geerts goes to the inside. He's not going to get the job done there, but a good effort all the same for the Monster Energy Khmer rider. He's going to have to settle for 4th unless something happens between now and the finish line. And he's not going to make his way through. It's going to be Vial in 3rd and Jago Geerts 4th. And see the back end there from Tom Vial. Just get out of shape.
Well, you can see what these qualifying races mean, right? It's no points given or anything like that, but they're not lacking on effort. You know, he was excited there to hold off Geerts.
And there's Jacoby. So Jacoby going through in 6th place. Sterry will get ready to come through in 7th place. So he was dropped by his teammate in the end. Olsen will be 8, Cyril Genot 9, Matej Boromé 10. We'll give the official rundown in a moment. Riders still coming through. 12-lap qualifier, so a 20-minute plus 2-lap race. Anyway, here's Lisa Leyland with Jorge Prado.
Jorge Prado, good job. Whole shot, cruise control pretty much the whole way. You made it look easy. I'm guessing you're feeling pretty at home out there.
Yeah, I got a whole shot, and then, like you said, I was just, controlling the race. I had some good lines. Can improve for tomorrow, and just saving some energy. Track is so rough, so let's see how it goes tomorrow.
Good luck for tomorrow. Thank you.
Well, if you wondered where his heart rate was at, Jason Thomas.
I'm going to say 63.
It's not even broken a sweat.
Yeah.
And he was calm in his interview as well.
Yeah, it must be nice. That's just incredible talent. There's no other way to put it.
Jorge Prado then takes his 10th qualifying race win of the year. The last 8 of those coming on the bounce since France. There's his stablemate, Mr. Kai Rowley. Probably taught him everything he knows.
He's got a lot to teach. That guy will go down as one of the best ever to swing a leg over a dirt bike.
Jorge Prado then wins the MX2 qualifying race from Calvin Balana and Tom Vial, Jago Geerts, Ben Watson, Henry Jacoby, Adam Sterry and Thomas Olsen. Cyril Genot 9 and Matej Boromé 10. Maxime Renault 11. Morgan Leciado, Alvin Osland, Mitchell Harrison 14th in the end. Michael Sander, James Carpenter, good ride for the Englishman. Joaquin Fabetta, Jan Pancher, Lars Griekspoor and Jeremy Hokier. Darren Sinai in 27th place. There's Mark Deruva, the crazy man.
Great in the sand as well.
Yeah, he's a good sandman. Anyway, we will get to see the MX2 qualifying highlights any moment now. And it was pretty interesting opening laps. Over on the left side, Prado, quick to get out of the gate, immediately looked left, saw his teammate was there, then the two Kawasaki's of Sinai and Jacoby. Sterry was just a few positions further back. Lauren was 3rd, Olsen 4th, but the Dane managed to sneak through briefly. But then 2 corners later, watch what happens to the 19, goes off track, over the bars, and he got slammed into the ground by a bike that's 100 kilos.
Face plant, yeah, that could have been much worse. I'm glad he's okay.
Prado led, Vial was 2nd. Olsen rejoined the race, and it was a hard ride through. Ika Larinaga fell, Gustavo Pessoa, Richard Sakina, and somebody else over on the inside. Then Jargo Kietz on the first lap, so from about 7th place. But he dug in, then Sterry made a mistake. Lost 2 positions to his teammate, and Watson. Then Olsen was on the charge. So too was Watson. That move on Jacoby was for 4th place. Valandrin here was in 2nd, number 10. Vial was behind him in 3rd. And looking solid was the Frenchman on the KTM. Jargo Kietz was impressive, Jason.
Yeah, that's a great move there. That's just knowing, knowing your competition, knowing that jumps on the inside, and a line that may not look like it's going to work will end up working by the time you get to the next corner.
Got into 5th and then 4th with those 2 moves on Jacoby and Watson. Just ran out of time, though, when it came to closing in on Vial. But Jorge Prado, a winner for the 10th time in MX2 qualifying. He starts the race from pole position tomorrow on Sunday here at Lommel. So that was the MX2 qualifying race. We will take a short break, and when we return, it will be at 5:30, so what, 3.5 minutes time for MXGP qualifying. Enjoy these best moments. We're back in a moment.